What's up, Planeswalkers? It's your boy K-Dog. Got a fun artisan deck for you guys here. This is for the Fires of Purphoros artisan event that's going on right now on MTG Arena. So I just kind of brewed up a quick mono green list this morning and went 3-0 and just want to share it with you guys. So we'll go over the deck real quick and maybe get into a couple games. Alright, so it's pretty low to the curve aggressive deck, and we're starting off in our 1-drop slot with Chainweb Arachnir. It's 1 mana 1/2 with Reach, and when it enters the battlefield it deals damage equal to its power to target creature with flying and opponent controls. So the nature of this event, commons and uncommons, we're definitely going to see some Healer's Hawks, Spectral Sailors, and things like that, so this will definitely have some nice targets. And of course, being able to escape it if we're against a removal heavy like a mono blacklist. Bringing it back with 3+1/+1 counters on it for 5 mana and exile 4 other cards. Also be pretty powerful creature in the late game. Going to be running 4 Giant Growths to power up all of our cheap creatures, giving them +3/+3 for 1 green mana at instant speed. Will be a pretty sweet combat trick and finisher, and got some other nice things that we can synergize with it here. Another sort of a buff spell is Rose Thorn Halberd. It's a 1 mana equipment. When it enters, attached to target non-human creature you control. So we do have a couple of humans, but most of our creatures are non-human, so it'll simply cost 1 mana and it'll automatically attach to one of our creatures. And the equipped creature gets +2/+1. Otherwise, you just have to pay 5 to equip it. So a little steep, but hopefully you'll be able to just cast this for 1 and just put it on something right away and get to beaten down. And finishing up our 1-drop slot, we have 4 Wildwood Trackers. It's a 1 mana 1/1. However, when it attacks or blocks, if you control another non-human creature, a Wildwood Tracker gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So most times it's going to be a 2/2 for us, whether attacking or on defense. And going up to the 2-drop slot, we have Barkhide Troll. It's a 2 mana 3/3. It's a 2/2 with a +1/+1 counter on it as it enters the battlefield. And you can pay 1 to remove a +1/+1 counter on it to give it Hexproof until end of turn. So a little bit of built-in protection as long as we leave 1 mana open from removal spells. And speaking of removal spells, we're going to run a couple Kenrith's Transformation. At 2 mana, we can enchant one of the creatures our opponents controls, lose all abilities, becomes a green elk creature token with base power and toughness 3/3. So they do get a 3/3 out of it, but we do get to remove whatever their best or biggest creature is. And at the same time, when it enters the battlefield, we do get to draw a card, so it replaces itself. Just as a 2-of, since there's not too many powerful creatures here, we don't have to worry about rares or mythics. But there are definitely going to be some common and uncommon creatures that we'll have to worry about at times. So just a 2-of is pretty nice. And we can always do it to our own creatures if we want. Speaking of which, we're running 3 Season of Growth. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, we get to scry 1. And whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, we get to draw a card. So it's a nice 2 mana enchantment in green that lets us draw cards. And that synergizes with our Giant Growth and our Rose Thorn Halberd. And the next card we'll get to, which is the Citizen Training. So all these cards will trigger the Season of Growth and allow us to draw a card. And the Citizen Training also has the enter the battlefield, draw a card ability in and of itself as a 2 mana enchantment. And we give our creature +1/+0 and trample. So we're just trying to push across as much damage as possible. Use like a Citizen Training or something to get as much damage through as possible by trampling over, and try to close out the game as quickly as we can. And Sir Farron, the Henge Hammer, fits in nicely with that strategy. It's 2 mana 2/2. It is legendary, so we're just going to run the 3-of. But whenever it attacks, another target attacking creature gets +X/+X into end of turn, where X is Sir Farron's power. So this is a human, so it doesn't really synergize too great with a Rose Thorn Halberd. But obviously Citizen Training and Giant Growth are perfectly great targets for this to buff it up. And then it will then buff up another creature during one of our own creatures during combat. And we can just punch through for a whole bunch of damage in a single combat phase. Another way to do that is with Loathsome Chimera. It's a 4/1 for 3. but it does have escape, so it gives us some nice late game as well. And we can escape it with a +1/+1 counter on it, so it comes back as a 5/2. So obviously giving this trample with the Setessan training, and then giving it the buff with Sir Farron. Thing is going to get out of control pretty quickly. Rounding out our 3-drop slot, we're going to be running 2 Setessan Petitioners and 2 Thrashing Brontodons. The Petitioner is just a 2/2 for 3, but it will give us a little bit of life back against other really aggressive decks, or like people always love to play mono red, so this gives us some protection against that. As we'll gain life equal to our devotion to green, and since we're in mono green, we should be getting, you know, 5, 6, whatever life back at least. But just a 2 of, because I think we have a pretty aggressive deck ourselves. So when you go two all in on that strategy, on that protection. And then the Brontodon, just a nice 3/4 for 3, so it's perfectly powerfully statted creature in and of itself, and does have the upside of paying 1 to sacrifice it to destroy an artifact or enchantment. So if we're up against like a mono white and they've you know, Conclave Tribunal or something like that, then we have a way to at least get rid of that. And because we are pretty aggressive, but we're also a little bit mana hungry, we're gonna settle in with 23 basic forests, and that's the deck. So let's jump into some matches in the Artisan event. Fires of Purphoros. Yeah, got our 3 wins. I love this constellation artwork. The Clothis especially is pretty sweet. Annex and Purphoros, all looking beautiful. Alright. So hopefully we fare as well as I did this morning with this particular list. Alright, against Kailua Elwood. Alright, perfect. 2 forests. Got our Season of Growth. 1-drop, 2-drop. Got a little bit of removal here. Yeah, this hand looks great. Up against another green list, but no 1-drop for them. Well, we got both of our Kenneth's Transformation. I think we'll just go for the Troll next turn just to keep applying pressure. Okay, Gruul looks like. Zhur-Taa Goblin. Sure. Down as a 3/3. Oh, we got a 3/3 as well. Obviously, no attacks. And since we are looking like we're up against a pretty aggressive deck, we'll probably just get our Brontodon down next turn. I think we want to block with that, so let's get in for 2 and just start chipping away at them. Another Troll. Alright, well, Kenneth's Transformation just makes their 3/3 a 3/3. Anyway, so save those for now and just get our Season of Growth and Barkhide Troll down. I don't think we want a second one at this point. I think we need a little more action. Either another creature or maybe a Setessan training, so we can get a little trample damage on our 3/3 here. And the card draw actually will be double card draw with thanks to Season of Growth. Okay, our opponent finally hit the 3rd land drop. They have Season of Growth as well. Okay, another Barkhide Troll. Alright, well, let's attack with our Troll and see if they want to trade. They just have the 1 red open, so unlikely they have a buff spell in red, although there are some that could be played in their deck. Let's find out. Nope, they just want the trade. Okay, another Season of Growth. Yeah, I think we're just looking for more action at this point. And you know what, let's just do it. Let's turn our 1/1 into a 3/3. Draw some cards. Okay, now we still have 1 mana open to protect our Barkhide Troll. We can drop our Sir Farron next turn and really start threatening them in subsequent turns. Okay, Frenzied Arynx. Probably going to play as a 4/4. Yep. Our opponent is running low, but they are threatening with some larger creatures than what we got going on. Yeah, let's power up our Barkhide Troll. The problem with Riot is it gives their creatures counters, so the Canada's transformation will turn it into a 3/3, but it still has that counter, so it will remain as a 4/4 creature. It'll lose the ability to buff itself up, but since they're still 2 lands away from that, I think we're okay. Yeah, don't need more forests, just looking for more buff spells at this point. We'll save the transformation, see what our opponent can follow up with. Okay, also playing Barkhide Troll, sure, makes sense. Obviously not as good when you're in a 2-color deck and you don't have access to Stomping Ground and things like that. But we want to be the aggressor, so if they want to attack, we're going to keep our creatures alive and see if we can push across as much damage as we can. Okay, selling out for 7 damage, drawing a card, sure. So we got to be careful here. Cannot equip our Surferin. I think we just attack with our 5/4s here. See if they draw land, then they can pump their Arynx up. And with 2 cards plus their draw step, it's likely that they have a way to pull off some combat tricks. Okay, so we always trade off one of their creatures. I think we just pass. Okay, no activated ability on the Arynx, that's good for us. But still 2 cards in hand. Keep on top, that's not good. Well, if we can survive this and draw any sort of a combat trick, then we'll be in outstanding shape. We might even be able to close out this game, but we do have to survive. Season Growth are obviously playing combat tricks themselves, so we'll have to be very careful. They're thinking long and hard about it. I guess they were trying to decide if it was worth saving that as a defensive measure. Okay. Do they attack in with their Arynx and lose it? If we don't do anything, we just lose. We just have to go for it, force our opponent to block. Just hope we can survive somehow. Okay, taking out Sir Farron. Makes sense. Alright, so it's my creature versus theirs. We can equip our Barkhide Troll again. Well, they don't quite have lethal here. Well, if they had just attacked with their Airings, they would have, because they would have had 6 mana to activate. But I guess maybe they're not familiar with the Airings. I mean, if they activated it, that would have been 7, and that would have been exactly lethal. Our opponent missed it. We're certainly not going to feel sorry for them. Alright. So yeah, our opponent missed lethal and we're able to survive all of their tricks since they have kind of a similar deck to ours. That was pretty fun. Let's jump into one more. Up against Kictrix. Alright. Well, we do have a 1-drop. Just going to draw a 3rd land so we can get these. There we go. Don't really have seen all of our 3-drops in our opening hand, but meta isn't too fast since everyone's playing commons and uncommons. So what our opponent's trying to do, white-black life gain. I'm fine with taking 1 here, 1 there. Is it worth attacking just to giant growth their envoy? What all enchantments could they be running? Yeah, let's test the water. If they're smart, they won't block, and we'll just get in for damage. Yep. So we can save our giant growth. We're not going to block the vampire, and we can't block the flyer. Okay, so just equipping their own creatures. Pretty aggressive start from our opponent. We have some pretty explosive power in our deck. And these Brontodons can take out whatever enchantments they play. These 3-drops are definitely kicking our butt. Just get our Brontodon down. And hold up our mana. If they have more removal, then we can just destroy probably the Banishing Light in response. These petitioners can gain us a little bit of life back and buy us some time. Obviously they're not going to block here. No reason for them to. Want to save our giant growth until it actually matters. For now, we'll just gain a little bit of life. Pass the turn. So I think I'm fine with blocking the vampire with our petitioner at this point, but our opponent holding it back. All they do is attack with their flyers, and that'll be game. Arachnir is pretty sweet. Bye-bye, Transcendent Envoy. Yeah, let's get our petitioner down before combat. And we need to push damage through. Not sure why they needed to flash in Omen of the Dead in response to combat. Might have been better to just let them take the trade, but I think I definitely want to slow them down. I just realized that the Envoy is itself an enchantment, so we probably should have just destroyed that. Actually, I think I'm happy to get the Arachnir in our graveyard so we can escape it. We're a little shy, though. So we need 4 more cards in our graveyard. Okay, 3 mana open. 1 card in hand. Let's see what they got. I think it was worth killing their Envoy there. Keeping our creature alive. Okay, just hold mana open for the scry. So our opponent got off to a pretty great start, and our hand was a little clunky in at the opening. But we have turned things around a little bit, though it's far from over. Of course, they have another Banishing Light. Interesting, taking out our 1/1. Getting their Mogis' favor back on their Envoy so they can start beating in for 3, sure. We can't block, so we need to crash in. And now we got a 4/1 on the board. Here we go, opponent. Pridemates. Trample. Alright. Trample through. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, that was nice. I was not feeling too good after those first few turns. Ooh. Ooh. Pulling it off there after that rough start. Alright guys, I think you got a pretty good feel for the deck. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you're looking for something to play, yeah, that's now 5-0 I've gone with this particular list. So yeah, have fun, and hope you guys get your cards. And thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.